If you missed the last 6 episodes, yeah, I think it's been about 6 episodes now, you missed out on us 100%ing the codexes, which means that we have finished all of our research. I have finished collecting all of the new abnormalities. Well, that's not true. Someone said in the comments that there's one that doesn't count toward the codex. It's a Zayan, similar to Bald is Awesome, I'm gonna guess, that we haven't seen yet. So there might still be one that I don't know of. Besides that, I have essentially finished all of the codexes that I want, all the ones that I'm really concerned about. But otherwise, I'm going to try to push my way at least into one of these departments. Probably over into Gabora's, because we get an increase to our attack and defense, and I want to start stacking that. So I'm going to put my attack team in there and kind of have those stats boosted as we go. But before I do all of that, I need to actually sit down and take a look at all of the E.G.Os that we have and go through, because now we essentially have all of the different Olive weapons and all of the different Olive suits that we're ever going to have. Even though I know I need to do the bird event, and I'm pretty sure when I do that, I'll get something cool. I can probably... I don't know if it'll be Olive or what, but I'm going to assume it's an Olive suit. Probably a really good Olive suit. Only because there seems to be a missing slot down here. It might actually be a weapon, I don't know. But whatever that is, I'm sure it'll go in here somewhere, and I'll have to go through it and like pick and choose who's going to get what. But I need to actually sit down and think, which means I need to go down through and see who has the best attack stats, who has the best move stats, who has the best HP. Because if I put, let's say, the Silver Mist, who is a tank, I want them out in the front. I want them kicking the crap out of things. I want them absorbing damage, healing damage. The more that they can heal and hit, the better. So I might even put them with this hammer, which will slow things down. Of course, since they attack so fast, though, Gold Rush might be better because it boosts their attack even more. Obviously at the cost of Temperance, but I can find people who are going to be good at work and people who are going to be good at attack and separate them out. And that's kind of what I want to do. Obviously, the Olives are going to be my heavy hitters. Most of these weapons are really good at what they do. Whether that's doing damage from a long range, that way it keeps people out of danger, or it's getting right up in their business and just smacking the absolute living crap out of them. Regardless of what the weapon does, it does it well. So this is going to be most of my heavy hitting stuff. However, I need to consider the wars too. Each one of these has special abilities that help it oh so much become nearly as powerful as the Olives. Some of them have to be paired up with their suits, but other ones, such as the name, are in the name of love and hate. This one, each attack has a random damage type, which is just okay. However, depending on the type of damage, recover HP and SP of employees hit by the weapon's projectiles. So these are healers. Anyone who has that wand can stand back and heal everyone. So then we have the lamp. 25% chance to make the target more vulnerable to black damage. Then we have the spear or spore. There's a 25% chance to make the target more vulnerable to white damage. Then we have Solemn Lament, which kind of reminds me of Ebony and Ivory. I think those are the weapons. Isn't that Devil May Cry or something like that? Regardless, they look cool, so whoever has them is going to be super stylish. That's important. I should not use those, but they're so awesome looking. Black Swan, when attacked, the damage has a chance of being reflected back, so that's what kind of makes this one good. I don't know what that chance is. If it's a high probability, a low probability, 50-50, that makes a difference, because if it's low, it sucks. I mean, the weapon sucks. So if it's a low probability of that being reflected back, then there's no real reason to have it. Again, these are like, the wars are like specialty weapons. So I think I'm going to predominantly stick to wars and olives. I should have enough gear to equip everyone. Going through that took a lot longer than it should have. For some reason, I kept second guessing myself. Kept thinking, Man, I need to make sure I get this right. Man, I can't afford to get this wrong. Man, I just need to make sure that every single person in here has the exact gear they're going to have for the rest of their lives. And then I got to thinking, who cares? I'm going to be buying new ones. Or hiring new ones. You know what I mean? I'm going to be hiring new employees, which means that I'm going to be dealing with new abnormalities. Well, all the ones that we've seen before, but new abnormalities, which means I'm going to be moving people around. Which means that I really don't need to make this as hard as it was, so I just kind of slapped some gear on them, and here we go. Now I've kind of been working through the day a little bit, and I've been working toward getting, like, each individual person the right work in order to max them out the right way, as well as I've been trying my darndest to make sure that I get certain people certain gifts. Like, for instance, let's take the Silver Mist. The Silver Mist needs HPSP, so this hand will be great, because I want them to be, like, my tank. So that's kind of what I was going through. I was kind of picking each one of these for their stats, and making sure that anyone that was going to be kind of low... Oh, hold on, something's happening. Oh, it's just Punishing Bird. Anyone who's going to be kind of low on health is getting healing stuff, as long as they're going to be part of my strike team, which means that their justice is really high. So I gave Basil the outfit that will... People were saying it not only gets healed from passing past any sort of dead clerks or agents, it also absorbs them, so they'll be gone. So I can kind of run them around and clean up this mess a little bit if I need to. Sorry, there's a few people who are just out in the middle of nowhere from the aftermath of one of the other suppressions. But we're going to be dealing with a green dusk really quick. I actually want to see how we're going to fare against this. Only because I do have a lot of half stats kind of in my facility right now, and I want to make sure that they're going to be okay, if that makes sense. They should be. So, here we go. We're going to see. Hopefully they don't get eaten. If they do, I guess I'm starting this all over again. Oh. Oh, no, you shouldn't have. You should not have put the robots right there. Those ones are dead. Oh, God, there's so many of these now. I don't remember. I always thought there was 3, but what? There's 4. My middle area and my half stat growth or training department. Those are my weaker units, so they go all together toward this one. And then this is my secondary team. My secondary team should be able to deal with that one, because I want to deal with one of these at a time, basically, and get it all knocked out. Yeah, this is going pretty well. It isn't very weak to red damage, but we weaken it to red damage, so our red damage team's doing okay. How is this one doing? This is the team I'm mainly worried about. Ooh, all those feathers are nice. Those are really good. They're doing some pretty good damage. All in... Oh, that's why. Hold on. Let's get you out of there. I want you down here. I want you to help them bring this thing down. Although, why? They'll be fine. I'll leave you where you are. Just do the work. I want to make sure that these ones are okay. Why are there butterflies? Oh, I have I have Solemn Lament in here. I know I shouldn't have given those guns to anyone, but they're cool, okay? They've got adorable butterflies on them, but other than that, they look really cool. I like them. Oh yeah, that's done. Now let's deal with this. Okay, little by little, we're chipping away at this. How are they doing here? Oh, they're okay. Actually, everyone here is getting healed up. That Queen of Hatred staff is so good. I don't know what the heck is happening. Maybe it's the pale damage? Whatever was in this room obliterated this. That was just a team of 5. I am no longer nervous, I don't think. That's terrifying how strong that is. And my team of 4 has already beaten... Okay, we're done. My team of 4 single-handedly brought this entire deployment area down. I have underestimated our units And I am way more confident now than I've ever been that we can actually do this suppression. I think I maxed out some stats on quite a few of our agents. I also made sure that anyone that needed punishing birds gift, that they I'm working toward getting them that. All of our heavies, I got the hand, because there aren't very many other hands here. I want the Night of Despair, so that's going to be a cheek thing, so that won't be a big deal. It's not going to be... I guess what I'm saying is the hand will never be overwritten, and it's plus 5 HP plus 2 SP. So that's going to be really good, especially for, like, our strike force. But, yeah, this day took a long time. A very long time to Queen Bee! Yes! Okay, Queen Bee was one I definitely needed. Singing Machine, I don't need. Eldrion, I don't even remember. Oh, yeah. I mean, I vaguely remember it. I remember I don't necessarily need either one of these. Queen Bee's a good one. I think I want to take Queen Bee. If this was Night of Despair, that would be perfect. That's kind of who I wanted in this spot. But I will accept the Queen Bee as a good alternative. What else can we get here? I don't want any of these. Notes would be okay. Shelter sucks, because I always forget about it, and then it just starts dropping Quiplaw counters all over my facility. Flesh Idol sucks, because it's one of those that you have to sit in it for a certain amount of time. I want something like Crazed Notes, where I can grab it, do some work, and then put it back. You Must Be Happy would be a good one to have. Let's see if we can get You Must Be Happy. You Must Be Happy, You Must Be Happy, You Must Be Happy. No. Giant Tree Sap's another one I wanted, so let's go with Giant Tree Sap. So that day wasn't nearly as long, because I wasn't nearly as focused on getting gifts, because I had already given them most of the gifts I wanted. Oh no. I have a choice. I want Blue Star. Blue Star's good. It's easy to work with. It's hard to let out unless it melts down. I really want Yin, and this would be a good spot for it, because it would be on the far left side. As of right now, I think getting Yin would be good. If I can roll into Blue Star or the Night of Despair for my second abnormality, that would be good. I like Yin, and I like it being as far left in the command center as possible. So let's do that one. Oh, and I got Blue Star anyway. Censored would be okay, but I like Blue Star, so I want Blue Star. That's a good olive to have, and that's a solid pick for our final facility. Ooh, this is going too well. I don't like it. I am one of those people who, whenever things aren't difficult, I panic, because that means that obviously right around the corner something horrific is about to happen. But I now have Yin, which means that I can give the Silver Mist the earrings that I want her to have. That's going to be crazy movement and attack speed. But now that we've 100%ed the codex, and we have a good start on our facility, I have some other work that I've kind of been putting off. And that is reading all the backstories for all the abnormalities. Because now we have a lot, and I've kind of neglected some of these. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through in order. And that's how I'm going to sort of fix my problem of I don't know which ones I haven't and have read. But I'm going to go through them in order and kind of read them. Because some of them are going to be important, some of them not so important. Some of them are going to be long, some of them are going to be short. 1 in 100, we've looked at the Queen of Hatred. I'm almost positive of that. I have not seen the Happy Teddy Bear. I know that one. The Happy Teddy Bear. An abnormality that resembles a large, raggedy teddy bear. It's missing some fur and only has one eye. The old ribbon around its neck hints that it may have received much affection from its previous owner. There is a name on the ribbon, but it is too tattered to be discernible. It seems that it knows it has been abandoned and looks very dejected. An excerpt from a counseling log continues. I was on the night patrol. I didn't feel the need to pay attention to Happy Teddy Bear since it was pretty harmless for the most part. I just looked inside the containment unit to check on it. Teddy was hugging someone very tightly. I thought it was redacted. The employee who was in charge of Teddy for a while, working late, But something was odd. I entered the unit and called redacted's name, but they didn't answer. I immediately pressed the emergency button to call in reinforcements. It turns out redacted had been in a coma for 8 hours. They were in Teddy's arms the whole time. An old letter stamped with rejected. Remember what was written in the employee manual? Do not have personal feelings towards abnormalities. At first, I didn't get what that was supposed to mean. Does it even make sense to develop any emotion towards those monsters in the first place? It's okay. They are monsters. Between the two of us, we can call them that. Happy Teddy Bear was the second abnormality you took charge of. I guess you must have thought that not all abnormalities are monstrous after seeing it. The figure of an old abandoned teddy bear may have brought up old memories of yours. Teddy seemed to like your hugs. Yeah, it would actually produce more energy when you were around. And in no time, they put you in charge of Teddy. You probably felt some kind of responsibility for it, right? I started getting worried as you visited Teddy's unit more and more often. It felt as if you were visiting an orphanage for volunteer work. It seems Teddy saw you as its new owner. Maybe you'd have been happy to hear that. But you see, Teddy never wanted to be separated from its owner ever again. You probably always promised that you'd return, but it couldn't understand. I heard that you miraculously survived and that they spent an hour trying to separate you from Teddy's embrace. Though others may forget about you, I will always remember you. May there be a miracle. So, again, this is Happy Teddy Bear. Again, let's do this as like an emotional coping mechanism for A. Happy Teddy Bear could be reminiscent of more innocent times, of childhood, which would mean that Happy Teddy Bear actually represents a childhood that has long been abandoned, an innocence that has long been forgotten, and a world that seemed so fun was actually really cruel. And that's why the abandoned teddy bear is kind of a devastating abnormality. It looks cute, it looks innocent, but in reality, when you think back on this world, I'm sure that a childhood is kind of, I don't want to say it's horrific, I don't want to say it's horrendous, because a lot of times, unless things happen to you that are really bad, which in this world it could, I'm not saying it didn't, but a lot of times we can kind of think back on things, and even crappy memories in our childhood seem kind of nice. At least a lot better than our current, like, becoming adult memories and adult memories. So I don't want to necessarily say that this is representative of that they had a bad childhood. It's representative that A may have lost all of that innocence along the way. And that innocence was kind of fighting back. This is A's suppressed memories of a more innocent time. Kind of stepping forward. You know how you kind of, at least me, I can't speak for everyone, but I sometimes think back to like happier times. So this could be A's childhood fighting back. That time where the memories of happiness make them feel worse. They're like, oh God, at one time I was happy. At one time I was carefree. And now I have all of this responsibility. So it could be that. Now let's frame it from Angela's perspective. This could be totally representative of Angela's innocence, and the fact that Angela's true innocence was never actually innocent. Kind of like a wolf in sheep's clothing, this teddy bear sits and waits. It's cute. It lulls people into a false sense of security, and when they get too close, it latches on, and it refuses to let go, and squeezes the life out of them. Much like with Carmen, or Angela, I guess. That's why I keep calling her Angela. But with Carmen, much like with Carmen, how they seem to be a very innocent and trustworthy person. And a lot of times they had good intentions for people, but they would bring people in. They would grab a hold of them and suck them into this life that was bad. This whole company was bad, and she was doing that. She was bringing people in and smiling and very charismatic. Kind of similar to, like, you know, you hear about psychopaths. Similar to that. You know, a lot of times they're very charismatic, and they're, God, what's the word that is always used for them? I can't remember the exact word, but in other words, people are drawn to them naturally. Whatever that word is, people were always drawn to them naturally. And I think that's what Carmen is. I don't think she's a psychopath, though, because obviously she feels guilt. Otherwise, she wouldn't have done what she did as a representation of Bloodbath. So she does feel bad. I don't think she can help it. Again, I almost think she's like genetically modified or like a weapon that Lobotomy and some of these other corporations specifically have these people who are designed from birth to bring people in and make this whole world seem okay. It's very interesting to think about. Not awesome, but it's interesting. The red shoes. A pair of elegant red women's shoes. The design is antique, but there is no telling where and how they were made. It overwhelms the mind with the urge to try them on. The changes that occur from wearing the abnormality are first visible in the eyes of the wearer. The next observable change is that the wearer is unwilling to take off the shoes. They will also act upon any and all desires that they may have subconsciously suppressed. If someone attempts to hamper them by acting on their desires or tries to take off the shoes will control its host, which sometimes leads to murder. Sorry. It is unknown whether the host's will is involved in the process, but taking into consideration the sharp increase in one's desires and aggressiveness, the host's primal urges seem to remain intact. An excerpt from a counseling log continues. Redacted was a very nice person. Well, they were also kinda a celebrity. They always told us that our job was something to be proud of. I mean, they knew how to deal with all kinds of abnormalities. But it was our biggest mistake to let them enter that containment unit. We never thought a pair of shoes, of all things, would do any sort of harm. At some point, Redacted was wearing the shoes, grinning from ear to ear, as you do, like a crazy person. It was quite strange. That wasn't a smile, it was omitted. Blood was all over the place. The tapping of the shoes echoed in the corridor. I closed my eyes and played dead. I saw one of my colleagues' head rolling around on the floor. The shoes stopped right in front of me and stood still for such a long time. Eventually, they moved past me, and that was right when I passed out. Omitted. I heard they couldn't take off the shoes and had to cut their legs. No one ever saw Redacted again after that. But those who've been here long enough will recall the incident, you know? So what's kind of crazy about this one is it feels like it takes control of people. It feels like it pairs really well with the teddy bear. Because this also talks about the allure of the red shoes. There is something about it. Now, this could be talking about how both A and Carmen felt about the company. There was glitz and glamour and prestige to be had by working at the company. You could make a bunch of money. Your family would make a bunch of money, even upon your death. You would sign away all of your rights, but you could have wealth that you could pass on through the generations that this world lacks. Depending on the situation, that would be a really tempting offer. So this definitely feels similar to something like that. But let's not frame the shoes or any of the other abnormalities as a representation of something that would be in their life, like a physical thing in their life. I want to frame this more like an emotion, more like something of their personal characteristics. So this is definitely not A's personality, because A was a very rough person. Abrasive, let's say. A was very abrasive. So this is not A. This could be Carmen, like I was stating before. But what this could also be is this could be A's mind. The beauty that people saw in A, in that they were a genius. They were someone who didn't have time to be personable. And that's kind of where the wearing of the shoes and the fact that they're shoes and not necessarily a whole bodysuit kind of come into play. A had one thing in particular that they were good at, and one thing in particular that people really idolized about them. And because of that one thing, they were beautiful. Similar to shoes. Shoes are beautiful at times, fashionable at times, durable at times. They do one thing in particular really well. And so these red shoes being beautiful and you know, they draw people in, that could be exactly what A is. So that kind of explains how this would pertain to A. And with Carmen, it kind of is exactly the same as the teddy bear. Carmen is a very charming person. So, I mean, it's pretty easy to see where the red shoes would kind of fit for them. The beauty, the appeal, and the fact that they will encourage people, similar to Carmen, they will encourage people to act on the things that they most desire. So for Gabora, they wanted to be the greatest warrior, or the greatest mercenary, or whatever. Whatever they wanted to be. They wanted to be known as the strongest in the Red Mist. So Carmen gave them the opportunity to do that. They presented them with something that was akin to like an offer they couldn't refuse. And she did that a lot. And that's kind of what these red shoes, I think, sort of represent. Now, I haven't really read through any of the objects. And I don't know if I'm doing them like a disservice by doing that. It just feels like they never sort of match the kind of backstories that some of the other abnormalities have. But let me try it. So, a music box with an impressive sculpture of a dancing ballerina. When wound up, a sad melody begins to play. No one knows when it was made or who made it, but it doesn't seem to be new, judging by the slight skips in the music. There are a few phrases crudely carved on its surface. Do you remember this melody? The professor used to play this song when the students were sleepy. Happy birthday. Listening to this music box will make anyone feel like everything will be okay in the end, lifting their fatigue. However, excessive listening will make one lose grip on reality and be driven mad. Yeah, see, this really doesn't give me a story. It just kind of describes more of what this is. And I guess there will be little things like, do you remember this melody? That kind of sort of, it would be important, I guess. Because maybe this is important to A or Carmen. Obviously, there's something about a professor. So it could give us a glimpse into little memories or something. I'm not sure. Either way, if that's, I mean, that would just be it. That there's not much more to it. No, you know what? I'll read through some of the other ones too as we go. And I'll kind of just see. I'll see if any of them sort of make sense. Because some might actually give me something that would be worth reading. So I don't want to skip them just in case. But I think this episode has kind of gone long enough. I don't know exactly how long it's going to be when I'm done editing it, but so far, this feels good. We're going through, I'm going to be getting, in the next few episodes, I'm going to be getting more of our facility squared away, and we're going to be learning a lot more. So be prepared for more Project Lore Building. I hope you enjoyed that, and if not, I'm sorry. But also remember to take care, and goodbye!